Have you told your friends that you see ghosts?
Oh, absolutely not.
Gina Rodriguez returns in Not Dead Yet.
I'm back, baby.
Who is that?
Oh, she's the obituary writer.
And Brad Garrett joins the brilliant ensemble cast.
Titan, Maverick, Titan of all Mavericks. These are all words used to describe me.
Not Dead Yet. Season premiere. Tonight, 8:30, 7:30 Central on ABC. And stream on Hulu.
It's the Happy Families podcast. It's the podcast for the time-poor parent who just wants answers now.
All this week on the Happy Families podcast, we are talking about those time crunch moments every day. There's something that makes life a bit challenging when it comes to kids and school and family life. And the topic for today is, I think, one of the most annoying things. Food. Have you noticed how much of a problem food is?
Because it's never ending. You need it for breakfast, lunch and dinner every day
and
for your entire life.
There's a desire for variety, except when the kids don't want variety, but we want them to have variety.
Well, I don't care if they have variety or not, but I need it.
Yeah. But we just want them to eat, and sometimes they won't eat. I mean, we had this situation just recently with one of our kids, maybe a couple of months ago, where you were saying you need to take a sandwich for lunch. Like, you need extra food. You can't just take an apple for the entire day. And she said, literally, Mum, I can take a sandwich if you want me to, but it is just going to end up in the bin. And you kind of go, oh, gee
and then I think back to all of the lunches that I threw in the bin as a kid.
With no consideration for how much Mum and Dad were spending on all those loaves of bread. Mind you, back in those days, a loaf of bread probably cost about 29 cents.
Yeah, it was still added up to the family budget, right?
Yeah, well, that's right, because Mum and Dad were only earning 50 cents an hour or whatever it was. Okay, so today our conversation is very much about what to do when it comes to lunch, how we can deal with that time crunch around lunch and making sure the kids have got something to eat that they will eat, that they're going to feel good about eating, and that we're going to feel good about sending them off to school with. We have 5 ideas. Proven ideas, time-tested ideas, hard-won wisdom ideas to help to deal with the challenges of getting the kids eating food at lunchtime. I think that I'm going to start, Mrs. Happy Families. But the first one's my favourite one.
Well, it's mine too.
I think it's everybody's favourite one, and it is...
Tuck Shop is awesome.
That's not what I was going to say. That was going to be my final one. We're coming back to that later, okay? Hey, did you not write down the same list that I wrote down? Obviously. Oh, no, we didn't.
I did.
We have different
Tuck Shop is awesome is literally my number one.
Okay. But Tuck Shop is also expensive.
It is expensive.
And it's not realistic, especially, I mean, over the years, we've had as many as 5 children at one school. And on Tuck Shop Day, we used to find every excuse to not let them buy Tuck Shop. We were like, oh my goodness, this is going to cost us an arm and a leg by the time they bought their stuff. But Tuck Shop is very, very useful for getting you out of a fix.
I remember when I was in primary school, I used to buy a Big Ben pie and a Long John donut. It was my favourite. They would stick the donut in next to my hot pie so it would be nice and warm. It was delicious. It cost my mum and dad $1.45.
$1.45 for a pie and
a donut.
A donut. No way.
Yeah. Now I'm literally timesing that by 10 minimum.
That's incredible.
For my kids to have something similar.
So you've said that, and it's got me Googling. It's got me getting all excited about things. I went to school 2 years after this began, okay? So I started school in 1980, I think. Yeah, it was definitely 1980. I've just done a quick Google, and I found a school canteen price list from 1978. So this is just 2 years before I got there. And I got to share this with you. A Vegemite sandwich, 26 cents.
I like the 6 cents.
A corned beef sandwich, 35 cents. Can you imagine getting you can't buy 2 pieces of bread.
My Long John donut, which I will pay like $4, $5, $6 for now, cost me 45 cents.
Unbelievable. This Tuck Shop also has a jam and cream donut for 22 cents. A finger bun for 20 cents. I mean, 22 cents. Do you remember when we used to have the little copper coins, the 1 and 2 cent coins?
Yeah.
It's taken me back.
Well, you used to be able to go to the corner store and get your Lipties for $1.
Your Lipties? What's a Lipty?
A little eucalyptus lolly.
Oh, you call them Lipties?
Yeah.
Oh, I've never heard of that. Yeah. Do you remember the 20 cents worth of mixed lollies? Anyway, we're going on a bit of a tangent.
I know we're being a little bit glib, but our last few weeks of term 3 were so chaotic. The kids have never thought they've had it as good as they did because Tuck Shop definitely highlighted their days more times than they have ever experienced.
Sometimes that's just life, right? But there's got to be other ways to do it. I found a Tuck Shop list from 1986. So I was in about, what would I have been, a grade, I think I was halfway through primary school or thereabouts. You could get a pie from the Tuck Shop for 72 cents. It was 77 cents with sauce. How amazing is that? Oh, my goodness. I could stare at this. I feel like I'm reminiscing and going back. Like you want to get back on the track. Okay, so number 1, Tuck Shop. It can be useful. Number 2...
What did you have on your list? Because we clearly don't have the same list.
Number 2, I had number 1 was leftovers. So we're going to go with that one.
Our kids love leftovers.
I love leftovers.
And it can be really annoying when I want the leftovers.
That's what I'm saying. I'll open the fridge. I'm thinking, it's going to be so good. We've got last night's leftovers. I'm going to have it for lunch today. And the kids have taken it to school.
And they've surprised me because obviously older kids usually will have access to a microwave. Younger kids won't.
Kids will eat anything cold.
They will eat it cold.
They love the leftovers.
Yeah, so leftovers is brilliant. And the great thing about doing leftovers is if the children decide they want it, then you actually pack it the night before. It's in the fridge, contain it up, ready to go, and you just put it in a lunchbox.
I see what you did there. You've just flashed back to our Monday podcast so that you could highlight morning begins the night before, make the decisions early.
Makes life good.
Takes away the time crunch. The third big idea that we have is...
weekend school bakes.
Weekend school bakes.
This is great to involve the kids.
Yeah.
And I will do a big bake up with them with muffins. We'll do mini quiches. We might do we did some little rice bakes once, little risotto.
Oh, I remember that.
Rice bakes, which the kids were really keen to give a go. They didn't stay on our list, but they were willing to give it a go. And we might do pancakes or pikelets for them to add into their lunch boxes. But then I freeze them. So I've got sometimes there's enough there for, a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But the kids get involved and then you've got them ready to go. They pull them out of the freezer. They go into their lunchbox as frozen treats. And by the time they eat them, they've kept the lunchbox cold, but now they're ready to eat. They're defrosted.
Okay, so we've got Tuck Shop is our go-to.
It's not really. It really should have been at the end, but
we've got leftovers. Excited. You did leftovers, and we've got the weekend school bake. Now, there are 2 other ideas that we want to share with you in rapid fire. I'm going to jump in with one of them because this has been such a success in our home when it comes to getting the kids to eat their lunch. And this kind of, I guess it's kind of like doing a weekend school bake or a leftovers thing, but there's just a slight tweak to it. We've got a handful of meals that the kids just love, and they don't care if they're eating it fresh. They don't care if they're eating it cold. They just love it. And so every so often, you'll just cook up a lasagna or a spaghetti bolognese and stick it in the fridge. It's not a meal that we're going to eat that night. It's literally a meal that is going to be good for the week. And the kids can take it on 2 or 3 days for lunch, and they're quite happy to eat lasagna 3 days in a row in their lunchbox. Or you'll cook up some meat that we would put into wraps, like the tortilla wraps. And so in the mornings, we'll head into the kitchen and pull the meat out and make up fresh wraps and wrap them up for the kids. And they love that. So I think specifically cooking a meal that you know that the children are going to like, and then you can just divvy it out, spread it out across 2 or 3 days. It takes care of lunches for most of the week. And so long as they're happy to keep on eating that food, it takes the pressure off so much.
Lunch menus are another thing that we've used in the past, which have been such a good tool for kids who struggle to make decisions. So having it all there in writing, literally like going to a cafe. And sometimes that feels a little bit overwhelming, but it's just broken up. What piece of fruit do you want? What carb do you want? Because you could have a wrap, you could have a sandwich, you could have a bread roll. You could also have a croissant. And then you get to pick your fillers that go in it. So our kids have had toasted sandwiches that they've eaten cold. I've made croissants and put them in the oven and melted the cheese and everything, and then they eat them cold at school.
It's amazing what kids like cold.
Yeah, but they've also asked for, mayo and chicken and lettuce sandwiches or egg sandwiches or any number of things. But it's all there, and they get to tick the boxes, feel a little bit fancy, and then everything can be prepared for them in the morning.
We're dealing with time crunch moments. These are our top 5 ways to get through the challenges of lunchtime. Number 1, just give them the tuck shop. But if you want to be budget conscious and don't want to have them reliant on the tuck shop, which we strongly recommend.
You can't put tuck shop as number 1.
Well, you said tuck shop as number 1.
Yeah, no, but it's really not. It's the last resort, people.
Okay, number 5, tuck shop. Number 4, let's go backwards, okay? Create a menu that has the fruit, the snacks, the meat or protein, the fillers for sandwiches, and get the kids to tick and flick the night before, because your morning begins the night before. Number 3, cook a meal and spread it out across the week. Number 2, do a weekend school bake. And number 1, just go with leftovers, which everyone seems to be happy about. We really hope these ideas help to make your family run smoother in those time crunch moments where it comes to making decisions, getting kids out the door, and making life work. The Happy Families podcast is produced by Justin Rulon from Bridge Media. Craig Bruce is our executive producer. If you would like more information about how your family can be happier, we recommend you check out our Facebook page. You can find everything you need at Dr. Justin Coulson's Happy Families online at Facebook, or you can visit us at happyfamilies.com.au.